Recording in progress.
Good? Okay. Call the order. Please read the statement.
Welcome to the public meeting of March 18th, 2026 of the Township of Washington Planning Board. Adequate notice of the meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by the Board Secretary to at least 2 newspapers on January 15th, 2026. And this meeting has been posted on the Township Bulletin Board, Electronic Message Board, WCTV, and on the Township website. I have a public notice to read. Governor Murphy signed into law on June 30th, 2025, a new law which reflects the transition from traditional print newspaper to online platforms as of March 1st, 2026. You will find on our township website a tab on the homepage named Public Notices, where all official public notices are required to be posted and may be obtained or viewed. These documents, in addition, will have a hyperlink to the Secretary of State's Public Notice webpage.
Thank you, Grace. Salute to the flag. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. Carroll,
Here.
Mr. Polito,
Here.
Mr. Toole,
Here.
Mr. Toro is absent, Mr. Wojnarowski is absent, Councilman Ullman,
Here.
Mayor Calamari,
Here.
Chairman Savino.
Here.
Let the record reflect also in attendance are Attorney Siobhan Bailey, Engineer Paul Azzolina, and Secretary Grace Kalish.
Thank you, Grace. Please read the public portion.
To participate in the general public portion of the meeting, please click the link below to join the webinar. You'll be asked to state your name and address for the record, and we ask that only one person speak at a time. This public comment portion is only for non-agenda items. Time is set aside later in the meeting to address questions or comments about current agenda items. If you are participating by phone, press *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute. At the end of the general public portion, no further general questions or comments will be accepted.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to open the public portion? So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone in the audience wants to address the planning board on topics other than what's on the agenda for this evening? No? No one in the audience? Anyone on Zoom?
No.
Okay. Do I have a motion to close the public portion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, on to new business, application of Alexander Hitton LLC for a major soil permit at 83 Gorga Place, block 1201, lot 1.01. Is the applicant here?
Yes. Good evening, Jennifer Berardo of the firm Wells, Dworsky and Liebman on behalf of the applicant. The applicant is the owner of property located at 83 Gorga Place, which is also known as block 1201, lot 1.01. The property is located within the AAA district, the single family residential district, and was previously a part of the subdivision, a larger subdivision approval for the area. The applicant is here this evening seeking soil moving approval by this board in order to construct their single family home with a pool, a patio, and associated site improvements. With me this evening, I do have Mr. Tyler Vandervalk, who I believe has been sworn before this board a couple of times, but I am certainly happy to put on or request his professional background for this board, if you'd like.
Now, Mr. Van der Valk has appeared twice before. This is your third time, and the board has previously approved your professional qualifications, so I think, Counselor, we're good at this
Okay,
point.
perfect. Thank you. And just to confirm, Mr. Vandervalk, you have visited the site and you've prepared the plans for us that have been submitted as part of this application,
Yes, that's correct.
and you've assisted with the preparation of the application.
Yes.
Okay. Could you please give the board, oh, sorry, just one.
Sure.
You raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in connection with this application?
Yes, I did.
Thank you.
Could I get the remote
Yes.
microphone? That's very close.
And Counsel, have you received a copy of our engineer's report?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Vanderwalt, as in previous testimony, please include any points that our engineer has detailed in his report as part of your testimony.
Absolutely, sure.
Sure. So if you could please just give the board a little bit of background on the particular lot that we are here for this evening.
Okay, sure. So this lot actually was brought up in testimony in relation to the lot across the street, primarily because this project results in an export of soil, and a place needs for that soil to go. And we talked about that in the prior application for the lot across the street, which is lot 1.05, as they were in need of imported soil, and those owners will be negotiating a deal to make that happen, as it will be more convenient for both of them. As mentioned, this lot is part of a larger subdivision that we've heard a couple of other applications on already. This one is actually the first on the easterly side of Gorga Place. As part of the subdivision, there's an existing home developed on lot 5 further to the north. That's to the left side of the property as we're looking at it from the street. The property in its existing condition is vacant. There is partial clearing along the frontage of the property that was done as part of road construction. The topography of the property slopes upward from the street to a high point about where the proposed home is located on the plan, at which point it slopes then down towards the rear or towards the east of the property. The proposal is to utilize the existing curb cut located on the southerly side of the lot, and then have a driveway which comes across the front of the property to garages located on the left side or north side of the house. This was a benefit, given the slope of the property, not to have such a steep driveway straight in, but rather to spread out that slope across a longer length of driveway. It also allows us to use the existing curb cut, but keep the intended layout for the home that the applicant desired. The front driveway is labeled currently at 23 feet. Mr. Azzolina brought up in his report that the maximum allowed is 22 feet. That was an oversight on my part. I did read that ordinance, but somehow ended up at 23 anyway. We will reduce that to 22 feet wide, so we'll have a slight reduction on impervious from what's shown on our table. The wider driveway along the front here is to allow for, if they had visitors and whatnot, to park and still be able to get around those vehicles. We have a walkway to that front driveway which goes to the front door. And then, like I said, we have garages to the left side, a single car garage sideline facing, and then a 2-car garage facing Gorga Place. We move around to the rear of the structure. Unlike the prior applications, this house is not set up with a walkout basement, but rather the main patio areas and swimming pool are actually going to be at the first floor level. So we walk around to the rear of the house, and that's what we have is an at-grade patio with swimming pool. That is all made level and held above grade there with the proposed retaining wall surrounding it. Towards the right rear of the home, we do have a covered patio area, a loggia there. And then below that, we actually have a lower patio or courtyard where we do have a small walkout location from the basement. So that's where we're exiting at the basement level before a series of stairs brings us up to a rear level area, which is about halfway between the pool elevation and the walkout basement elevation. So this further to the rear of the pool will be a lawn space where we have proposed the drainage improvements before we have the final retaining wall, which brings us down to original grade. Speaking of drainage, the proposal here is for 3 dry wells, which will collect the roof runoff and patio runoff. The driveway runoff will go to the street collection system and ultimately to the subdivision system, which was already installed and discussed in prior applications. Ultimately, that's across Gorga Place, down below lot 105 across the street. We will be supplementing this design in accordance with Mr. Azzolina's report. Rather than discharging the lower courtyard as currently shown out of the retaining wall without any recharge, we will be supplying a small recharge chamber for that small patio area rather than just discharging it freely on the slope as recommended. Soil movement as part of the application consists of a total excavation on site of 1,972 cubic yards, a total fill on site of 262 cubic yards, for a net export of 1,710 cubic yards. As you may recall, lot 105 across the street required a bit over 2,000 cubic yards. So that is the intended location of this. However, if for whatever reason the timeline doesn't work out, the anticipated builder for the project does have some potential other locations that he could bring the fill to, but that wouldn't be ideal for the client given the cost to move it there as opposed to just across the street, which is the goal. But just so the board is aware, there are other opportunities available to the applicant. As far as zoning goes, we're not requesting any variances. We're compliant on all our setbacks and coverages. Just to give an idea here, maximum impervious cover for the zone 30%, and we are at 20.9%, so a healthy amount below. Similarly for building coverage, 20% permitted, 8% proposed. It was a comment in Mr. Aslin's report regarding the height of the structure. As shown in our site plan, it is compliant. We will need to coordinate a little further with the architect. I think it's about 9 or 10 inches above what we're showing here, which would not be compliant. I've confirmed with the architect that ridge line can be lowered to be compliant with the ordinance. So we're not seeking any height variance as part of the application. There are a number of tree removals as part of the application. As mentioned, there was some clearing already done on the front of the lot as part of the road construction. Additional tree removal proposed is a total of 17 trees, and then given the required replacement schedule for your ordinance, we would be required a total of 36 replacement trees. Again, similar conversation to prior applications. We have proposed the full number of replacement trees here on the plan. Some of them are somewhat dense and tightly put together. Now, that being the case, we have proposed the type of tree that allows for that. But even so, that in addition to the trees that will still be required as part of the Gorga Place construction and subdivision approval, may be too much to fit within this specific area. And so we would agree to the conditions in Mr. Aslin's report, whereby we basically would seek to do the best we can, and then anything else that we're short would need to be supplemented by paying into the replacement fund. I think there are a number of other open comments that I should address. There was a comment regarding the sewer connection line. I think we do need to increase that slope by a small percentage. We're showing right now 1.7% slope. That should be closer to 2.1%. I don't see any issues in making that happen. There will be further review of the structural design for the retaining walls, so we anticipate that review as part of the building permit application. But those details and calculations were submitted. We spoke about the stormwater management addition, tree removal. There's a question as to trees that are marked on the property but not marked on the plan for removal. I will coordinate with the applicant and see if those were additional trees that were sought to be removed. If that's the case, then the plan will be revised accordingly. But it is our intent to fully comply with the ordinance in regards to tree removal and replacement. The only other item, I guess, for discussion in the report, I believe, there was a question, or there was a point made about the bond required, approximately $85,000 or so. I don't know if it's a record for the resolution, and that's why I bring it up now. Maybe this is an item that can be further discussed upon submission of an estimate of some kind. So I don't know if the number would quite be that high for the soil movement specifically.
Well, that number includes the cost of retaining wall construction,
Oh, okay.
drainage improvements.
Okay,
Most likely, it's probably a little bit more than that number, but
fair
that's
enough. Okay,
just a historical number that's been used by the township based on a cubic yard figure. So that's the number that I've.
all right. I appreciate you clarifying. For some reason, I was thinking it was just for the import-export.
No,
of
it's-
soil, but, okay.
When you read the code, that section of the code, it says performance bonds can be required for even landscaping, which
Okay.
I don't put that large a number in that a certificate of occupancy would not be recommended, so it would not be in anybody's interest to not do what's on the plan.
All right,
So
appreciate it. Was there anything else?
No, I
Mark?
think you hit everything. Just to confirm, we are compliant and variance-free with respect to this application. And the majority or all of the soil is intended to be moved to one of the other lots to be constructed within this area. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and to the extent that there are any outstanding items with respect to Mr. Azzalina's report, you will modify the plans, provide additional calculations, and work with Mr. Azzalina's satisfaction.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions of Mr. Vandervalk.
Great, thank you, Counselor. Thank you, Mr. Vanderwall. Mr. Azzalina, any aspects of your report which have not been discussed?
No, I believe Mr. Van Valk has touched on everything. About the only further discussion that should be had would be relative to the tree replacement. So typically with a property such as this, you're going to have an elaborate landscape plan toward the end of the project. Is that the applicant's intention to develop a landscape plan?
Yes.
So I agree with Mr. Van Valk that the plan satisfies numerically the requirements of the ordinance, but most likely not in keeping with what the applicants propose. So I would just say, based on the statements offered by the applicant, that they'll conform to the requirements of my report and the code, that the future landscape plan be reviewed by me, and if there's any deviation, I would bring it to the board's attention. But the proposal is, if it doesn't work numerically, that they will make the in-kind contribution to the township tree fund at $400 per unit based on whatever deficiency. So my report spoke of basically a one-to-one replacement, but under the code, there would be a greater number. So that's really the only discussion to be had, is what the board envisions the required replacement, strictly in accordance with the code, which would be a larger number, the 36 or so, plus the 10 or so that are part of the overall subdivision improvements shown on this property. So that's what I'm asking. Is the board looking for the greater number or somewhat less, and is okay with any monetary contribution?
Any comments from the board members before I provide my point of view?
I mean, I would just like whatever's reasonable. So I don't want the number of trees to go down too far where you're making a whole contribution to the tree fund. So Paul, I've trusted your judgment many years now. So I trusted again that, you won't allow it to go too low, but.
Thank you. So I'd also like to point out, so this property, they actually would have the ability to plant a number of trees on this property, because they are basically leaving the easterly portion of the site undisturbed. Now, if you were to plant trees in that area, it's an extensive tree canopy. They probably wouldn't survive, so it's kind of a waste. So I think that is a benefit to the rest of the town, to maintain that buffer between the properties. So that's what I'm saying. I think it will be tight, planting just within the front portion of the site. So I think there will be some some amount of trees go into the tree fund.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, and I agree with the mayor's point of view, and Ms. Azzalina, we'll leave it up to your professional judgment as to how many trees can be replaced. And if they can't, then I would expect the applicant to provide funds to the town's tree fund.
We'll certainly coordinate with Mr. Azzalina's office as to that, and the intent really is to replace as many as possible on the site. Just have to make sure that there is a sufficient amount of space for them to grow and thrive.
Yeah, and the worst thing, you spend all this money to plant trees and they all die, and then it looks ugly because they all turn brown.
Right.
Okay. All right, any, Ms. Azzalina?
No, I believe Mr. Vanderbalk has covered everything in my report.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the board members of the applicant?
Just, can you speak to the water retention? My concern in looking at the most easterly part of the property that's really being untouched is the slope to that, easterly lot behind. And don't want to introduce by the new construction additional waters going to the neighboring lot.
Yes, absolutely. So again, in the current condition, the high point of the slope is about where the house is proposed on the property. So today, when it rains, there is a certain amount of capture in the ground, obviously in the wooded areas. And there is ultimately a certain runoff number off the rear from that area. The intent of our design, and again, given that this was part of a major development of the subdivision, we're using the 100-year storm event, so a significant rainfall. Our intent is to capture any hard surface that would be headed towards that rear area, capture it and recharge it in the ground so it doesn't have an opportunity to flow overland. And so thereby, by our calculations, this would result in actually a decrease in runoff to the rear with the ability to recharge those surfaces, the runoff from those surfaces into the ground. And then of course, everything in the front, the design of the overall subdivision system was taking the driveways into account already.
Mr. Vanderbilt, can you please explain what recharge means?
Recharge,
I'm a
right.
CPA, I'm not an engineer, so.
So again, if we take this wooded slope, the science would basically say that given your slope condition, given your ground cover condition, right? So if you have flat woods, that's probably your best recharge condition. Most water is getting into the ground. You have a very steep site, still woods, then the result would be less water is going to get into the ground, although still better than if it was paved, obviously. So there's this sliding scale, so to speak, on all your different coverages and slopes and whatnot. So our goal is to continue to recharge despite the fact that we're putting down hard surface. So instead of having a roof and the water hits the roof and now just goes running off somewhere, we're going to capture that water in the gutters and we're going to pipe it into an underground system. So we're injecting it into the ground, so to speak, rather than letting it naturally flow overland and some of it gets into the ground. We're just going to take that water rainfall from our patio areas and from our roof, and we're going to pipe it directly into these dry wells, which are open bottom concrete structures, and they have holes around the side and they're in a bed of stone. And this allows for a storage, a certain capacity, so as it rains, it's filling up, and then over time it can slowly let it into the ground. So that's the intent of the recharge.
Okay. Now, when you mentioned the big cylinders and the rocks, Ms. Azzalini made me put one in my house when I put in mine. So now I fully understand the
That's
concept.
exactly what it is, yeah.
But you did complain a lot, though. I did
complain a lot.
I will note that for the record.
Thank you for that explanation.
Good.
Any further questions from any of the board members? Councilman?
One other. So maybe I'm like a little too hung up on this, but the movement of soil, I know with a prior application, it was discussed that there would be soil moving within the subdivision, the new subdivision, and some of the testing wouldn't be required, which I understood. I guess my question is, how does the soil get from lot 1.01 to lot 1.05? And is that overseen by Mr. Azzalina to ensure that the curbing and the road isn't destroyed? So,
Yeah, we would monitor that, and if there is any damage, then Mr. Baton's contractor, if he was the cause of the damage, he would be responsible for that. But yes, that is definitely monitored. And it's just going to be a dump truck basically going across the street.
okay. Just want to make sure.
Yep, that's really all we're talking about.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that detailed explanation.
Dump truck.
It's technical, is that?
There's different kinds of dump truck. We're probably talking a site dump truck, articulated, you know.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's even better. Can you draw for me? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman. Any further?
Thank you. No, I just wanted to thank the board for your time this evening. One of the applicants actually is a resident or has grown up in Washington Township her whole life. She's excited to finally move back to where her parents live and all of her other family members, and they're excited to get the project up and running. So thank you so much for your time this evening.
Great, thank you. At this time, I'd like to open up the meeting to public comments. Do I have a motion to open?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone in the public wants to address the planning board on this application? No one? Anyone on Zoom?
No.
No one? Do I have a motion to close the public comment portion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next, do I have a motion to approve this application as amended for the driveway and other requirements detailed with Azzalina's report?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. Polito,
Yes.
Mr. Tool,
Yes.
Mr. Ullman, Councilman
Yeah.
Ullman, sorry.
Yes.
Mayor Calamari,
Yes.
Chairman Sabino.
Yes. Application has been approved.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Look forward to rejoining the township.
Yeah,
Thank you.
welcome back to town.
Okay, Mr. Vandervalt, you have what, 5 more to go?
You'll get a little break from me, I think. I haven't started another one.
Oh, okay. Okay, take care, Bill. Thank you. All right, no old business? Moving on to minutes, December 17th, 2025. Any comments on minutes, corrections? None? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. Polito,
Yes.
Mr. Tool,
Yes.
Councilman Ullman,
Yes.
Mayor Calamari,
Yes.
Chairman Sabino.
Yes. December 17th, 2025, closed session. Any comments on the meeting minutes? None? Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. Polito,
Yes.
Mr. Tool,
Yes.
Councilman Ullman,
Yes.
Mayor Calamari,
Yes.
Chairman Sabino.
Yes. Yeah.
We don't have the January 7th minutes. So they want to send them out at the last minute, so it's 2 minutes left.
Okay, great. All right, last agenda item. Any board member have any issues, comments, thoughts, epiphanies that they would like to discuss?
I don't know if Ms. Bailey wanted to speak to Monday's council meeting with regard to the referral back?
Oh, yes, sure. So you may recall that Joe Burgess came before the board on March 4th on the amended 2026 Housing Element and Fair Share Plan, together with some implementing ordinances. Since after the first reading of ordinance 2602, which was the real meaty ordinance that created those two AH1 and AH2 zones, one of the property owners, in one of those districts, 660 Pascack, their engineer kind of said, oh, wait a minute, we need some changes in those standards. So in facing the mandatory statutory deadline, we had to proceed forward with adoption of 2602 as it was. It had to be adopted by Monday night. And then thereafter, we introduced a corrective ordinance on first reading, which will be back before this board, together with another amended housing element fair share plan to make, the consistency review correct. We're hoping that is the extent of what the developers' changes are. But, this is a difficult process. It's being done under rushed circumstances, so that's always going to lend itself to, oh gosh, I missed this or that. And not to excuse it, it was kind of sent over on a late date, but it is what it is. So we're working with that developer's engineer because we have an obligation to do that. So we'll be back before this board on those changes, and you'll have a better opportunity to fully review that.
Got it. If I understand correctly, Mr. Burgess had made a comment during the presentation of the fair housing plan that he had gotten some last minute clarifications. So I'm assuming that.
These are newer than that.
Oh, newer than
Yeah,
that.
those were incorporated in that ordinance.
Got it.
Yeah, these are actually in addition to that.
So it's more than just the density of.
Right, it's minor adjustments. I guess when you go back and you look, we're not going to hit the maximum impervious coverage.
Yeah.
We need this amount, or we need, this setback, we need a little more room on this side.
Got it.
Those details. Listen, they could come in and they could ask for variances on all of that, but as you recall, we're also seeking to settle a pending appeal with them on that commercial development.
Yeah.
So it's a little more involved.
Right. But at the end of the day, the town's in compliance with the deadlines, which,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
The only other comment I want to make is that the next board meeting, unfortunately, I'll be out of the country. I'm going back to Thailand for a client business. So Mr. Carroll will take over as chairman of that meeting.
And it's on Monday,
Right,
30th.
correct.
Just as a reminder. So.
Please give Mr. Carroll the respect you give me.
I'm in
Had good comments, Lenny.
Great, no, thank you. So with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.